Welcome to Imam Ali's legacy for exploring the timeless wisdom of Imam Ali through the profound teachings of Nahjul Balagha. Our channel aims to shed light on the invaluable lessons and guidance imparted by Imam Ali, covering a wide range of topics including spirituality, leadership, justice, morality, and philosophy. Through detailed explanations, reflections, and insightful interpretations, we bring Imam Ali's words to life, helping you connect with his divine wisdom in today's world. Whether you're seeking spiritual growth, intellectual enlightenment, or simply a deeper understanding of the teachings of one of history's most influential leaders, this channel is for you. Join us as we embark on a journey of knowledge and inspiration straight from the sacred texts of Nahjul Balagha. Subscribe to stay updated with weekly content, including sermons, letters, and sayings of Imam Ali, along with their meanings and practical applications in our lives. When the Holy Prophet and Ali left his house at Mecca in the night, was found in his bed, the tribesmen of Quraysh at first thought of killing him. But when they found him ready to defend himself, they gave up idea and dispersed in search of the Holy Prophet. Ali, as per orders of the Holy Prophet, stayed 3 days at Mecca and handed back to their owners all the articles which were entrusted to the Holy Prophet for custody. Most of their owners were his enemies. He left the city in broad daylight. He was entrusted by the Holy Prophet of the Holy Prophet's daughter Fatima for the safe transport, the daughter of Hamza, another Fatima his own mother, a third Fatima and his aunt, the daughter of Abu Muttalib, a fourth Fatima Aika. The tribesmen of Quraysh wanted to prevent the departure of these 4 ladies. 8 prominent people came out to fight. Alayat fought single-handed with them. He killed Junna with the stroke of his sword and scattered the rest and continued the journey. On account of scarcity of mounts, he had to travel on foot, and thus he reached Medina with bleeding feet. Awaiting the arrival of Imam Ali, the Holy Prophet was staying at Quba, 2 miles away from Medina. When he reached Quba, on the 12th of Rabi'ah, all, probably the end of June, the Holy Prophet embraced him, dressed his bleeding feet, and entered Medina along with him. Before his migration to Medina, the Holy Prophet had created a bond of brotherhood between the immigrant Muslims and their Medina supporters. He had fraternized Abu Bakr to the Ayman Juwa, Uthman to Abdul Rahman ibn Auf, the Ayman Liti and Hamza to Zayd ibn Harisa and Talha to al-Zubair. On that occasion, he had fraternized Imam Ali to himself, saying, "O Ali, you are my brother in this world as in the next, and during the 5 months following his arrival at Medina. As indicated above, the Prophet created a fraternity between the Muhajirin, the immigrants, with the Ansars, the supporting citizens of Medina." On that occasion, he again called Ali Chent and said, "O Ailen, you are my brother in this world and hereafter." The historian Ibn Hisham says, the Holy Prophet caught the hand of Imam Ali and said, "The alone is my brother." Thus the Messenger of Allah, who was actually the leader of all the prophets, as of all the pious men of the world, and who had no parallel among human beings by fraternizing with Imam Ali, showed that Ali, the Holy Prophet, also had no parallel among mankind except during the 20th year of Hijra, Imam Ali's marriage took place with the Holy Prophet's daughter Fatima. So the Holy Prophet S.R.S.N.A. was receiving many offers for his daughter from very rich people of Medina, from some of the Muhajirin, and from chiefs of mighty clans of Arabia. He had refused even to consider these offers and sometimes felt annoyed at them. At the end, he closed the door by saying that he was awaiting the orders of Allah. The book Ast al-Haba fi Tamiz al-Sahaba gives a detailed account of these offers and the way of refusal by the Holy Prophet. Some of the Ansar suggested to Imam Ali proposal for himself before the Holy Prophet. He is to place an ark. Imam Ali yet went before him feeling shy and modest. This was the first time in his life that he talked reservedly to a man who was like a father unto him, and to whom he was like a dear son. When the Holy Prophet heard their proposal, he was so pleased that he smiled and said, "It is a welcome and happy proposal." The Holy Prophet took the consent of Fatima then for this proposal. The marriage ceremony was very simple, without pomp and ostentation. There was a sermon from the Holy Prophet. 10. in which he praised Allah, mentioning some of his attributes and citing verses of the Holy Quran, and concluding with the remarks that he was ordered by Allah to give Fatima, followed by a khutbah from Imam Ali, Prophet, Fatima into marriage with Imam Ali. This was praising Allah and the holy and desiring the gathering to witness his marriage with new. After this happy ceremony, somebody reminded the Holy Prophet, the daughter of Holy Prophet and the mother of Fatima, of his late companion in life, Khadija, and he said, Khadija, where is Khadija? Who can be like Khadija? She testified for me when the world was falsely accusing me as a liar. She relieved me of much of my weight. She was my partner in my work, and she helped me when others were creating obstruction in my mission. After reaching Medina, the Holy Prophet stayed in the house of Kulthum ibn Haram for 7 months and Imam Ali with him. When the Holy Prophet finished the construction of mosque, he built houses for his wives around it, and in the center of them, he built a house for Imam Ali. Following his example, many of his companions, except Abu Bakr, built their houses around the mosque. Abu Bakr was staying in the locality of Banu Abd Auf, where the marriages of both of his daughters took place, and later on he shifted to Suq Bukhari Wall. 1. The doors of all the houses built around the mosque opened into the mosque. One day the Holy Prophet ordered that except the doors of his houses and that of Ali, all the other doors should be closed. Some of the companions requested him to allow them to keep a small window open. He replied, "No, not a pinhole, Allah so willed it." In the year 3 AH, the first child to Imam Ali was born, and he was named Hassan, and then Fatima, son of the Holy Prophet, NH. In the same year 3 AH, the Battle of Uhud took place, which was followed by the dispatch of an expeditionary force to Hamal Asad under Imam Ali Fathi and Fatima in the year 4 AH. Imam Ali Nascent, who was also named by the Prophet, had the second child, Imam Hussein Mew. In the same year, a battle took place with Banu Nazir, and Imam Ali brought it to a successful end, and Banu Nazir were forced to vacate their fortress. 5 AH. In the year 5 AH, 3 battles took place. The battle with Banu Mustalik, the battle of Khandaq Himot, and the battle with Banu Anza. In all of them, Ali was the commander of the army. The most important of them was the Battle of Khandaq, which I have narrated in section 1523. In the year 6 AH, an expedition to Khandaq was sent under the command of Imam Ali, and without a battle or skirmish, he brought the whole province under control of the Holy Prophet. In Dhul Ki date of this year, the Holy Prophet, and along with the 1400 Muslims, left for Mecca with the intention of Hajj pilgrimage. He had no desire to fight anybody and had left all the armaments at Medina. When the tribesmen of Quraysh came to know about this intending pilgrimage, they refused to allow the Holy Prophet then to enter Mecca. Khalid ibn al-Walid came out with a force of 200 well-equipped cavalrymen to obstruct the Holy Prophet and if necessary to fight over the issue. At an oasis called Hudaybiyyah, the opponents faced each other. A chieftain named Arwa from Quraysh came out to discuss the situation with the Holy Prophet, and instead of a battle, a treaty was arranged, and it was written by Imam Ali. The last clause of the treaty was the present intention of the pilgrimage would be given up until the following year, although the Holy Prophet and the Muslims could come for Umrah. In the year 7 AH, 2 battles took place, the Khaybar and the Wadi al-Qura. The more important of them was Khaybar, which I have accounted in section 15p. 25. In the same year, the Holy Prophet, along with Muslims, went to perform the Umrah. It was a very peaceful mission. The Holy Prophet and many of the Muslims had their wives and children with them. The Umrah was performed without incident. In Islamic history, the year AH held some important events in its unfolding. The first of them was the liberation of Mecca. The terms of the Treaty of Hudaybiyyah were dishonored by the tribesmen of Quraysh. Within 2 years of the treaty, they killed 20 persons from Banu Quza's clan without any justifiable reason. Representatives of the clan came to the Holy Prophet asking for his promised support. He was annoyed at this flagrant dishonoring of the treaty and said, I am not helped if I do not help them. The arrangement for the invasion of Mecca was being carried on by the Muslims. In the meanwhile, Hatib, a companion of the Holy Prophet Hijra, who was with him in the Battle of Badr, wrote a letter to his family, informing them of the intention of Muslims. This espionage under the orders of the Holy Prophet was detected by Imam Ali, and he brought this letter to the Holy Prophet. It was being sent through an Abyssinian slave girl. Hatib confessed his crime and was mercifully pardoned by the Holy Prophet and Bukhari. When all the arrangements were ready, the army of invasion, numbering 10,000, marched towards Mecca. The command of the army this time was given to Sa'd ibn Ubadah al-Ansari, with orders to enter Mecca as the advancing party. Sa'd entering Mecca saying, "Today is going to be a big day of retaliation, a day when Mecca will be looted." Hearing this, Abbas, uncle of the Holy Prophet, came to the and said, "O Messenger of Allah!" Sa'd has very serious intentions against Quraysh. He may carry on a massacre. The Holy Prophet called Imam Ali and said, "O Ali, go and take the command from Sa'd and do what is needed. He will not be unhappy in handing over the command to you and to you in particular." Imam Ali took over the command of the expedition and entered the city, declared perfect amity and peace, and waited for the Holy Prophet. When the Holy Prophet entered Mecca, he went straight to the Kaaba and started removing the idols placed there. Some of them were placed on a very high platform where his hands would not reach. He asked Ali to mount on his back and remove the idols. Ali then obeyed the order, mounted on his back and was removing the idols when the Holy Prophet and asked, "Oh Ali, how do you find yourself?" "I am Ali," and replied, "Oh Messenger of Allah, I find myself on such an eminent place that I feel as if my head is resting on the empyrean of Allah the Almighty." Thereupon the Holy Prophet replied, "O Ali, how fortunate you are doing the work of Allah, and how fortunate I am that I am bearing your burden." At the occasion, a poet presented a praise in praise of Imam Ali. I am asked to praise Ali in verses because recital of his praises will release a man from hell. I replied to them, "How can I praise a man whose attributes are so sublime that men got confused over these attributes and started apotheosizing him? He has placed his foot at such an eminent place that according to the Holy Prophet, it is the place on which, on the night of Mi'raj, Allah has placed his hand of grace and mercy." Hearing this praise, the Holy Prophet rewarded the poet handsomely. The second important event was the massacre of Banu Jazima at the hands of Khalid ibn Walid and reparations carried by Imam Ali under orders of the Holy Prophet. During the month of Shawwal of that year, the Muslims faced certain powerful tribes of Arabs on the battlefield of Hunan. Ali again secured a victory for them, referred to section 15p28. Hunain was followed by an expedition to Taif under the command of Imam Ali. Those who had run away from Hunain had gathered there and wanted to measure their strength once again. The commander of their army, who was the chiefs of Banu Zegam clan, was killed by Imam Ali, which broke the back of resistance, and various parties of hostile clans started dispersing. Seeing the Holy Prophet, raised the siege and brought the expedition to an end. In the same year, Imam Ali was sent to Yemen on a missionary service. He carried on this work so successfully, and his speeches there proved so effective, that the tribe of Banu Hamdan embraced Islam as one entity. The 9th year of the Hijra relates 4 important incidents of Imam Ali's life. The first was the expedition to That al-Salasil. Ali brought it to a successful end, defeated the clans gathered there to invade Medina, and brought the happy news to the Holy Prophet. The messenger of Allah came out of Medina to welcome the warrior. Ali's horse at the head of his army saw the Holy Prophet and jumped from his horse. The Prophet was riding walking towards told him, "Keep on riding, do not dismount. Allah and his Prophet are really pleased with your services." The Prophet made him remount his horse, and he walked along with the horse, referred to Hamra, Ashera and Marijul Nubuwai. The second event was the Holy Prophet's expedition in person to Tabuk, which I have narrated in section 16, p30. The third important event in the life of Ali Idai and in the history of Islam was the reading of the chapter Shura Barat before the infidels of Mecca. This Shura declares that Allah and His Messenger in the future will have nothing to do with the infidels and polytheists. All the treaties which existed till then were now annulled and cancelled. No polytheist or infidel would, in the future, be allowed to enter the city of Mecca or the precincts of Kaaba. Say that the Holy Prophet first ordered Abe back to convey this Shura to Mecca and to read it at the Kaaba. But immediately after him he sent Imam Ali to replace Abu Bakr on the mission. When Abu Bakr complained about this change, the Messenger of Allah replied, I have done it under orders of Allah, which came explicitly, that either I should perform this duty or somebody who is like me. The fourth event took place in Najran, a city in the province of Yemen. It was center of the Christian missionary activities in southern Arabia. The Holy Prophet had written to the chief priest of the city to realize the blessings of Islam. In reply, he wrote that he would like to personally discuss the teachings of this new religion. His name was Harith. He was invited and came with a retinue of 14 priests. The priests stayed at Medina as guests of the Holy Prophet. Long discussions about monotheism versus Trinity took place, and it was realized that these priests were not open-minded. On the contrary, they were prejudiced against Islam. The Almighty ordered the Holy Prophet to explain to them that verily Jesus is as Adam in the sight of Allah. He created him out of dust. He then said unto him, Be, and he was. This is the truth from your master. Be not therefore one of those who doubt, and whoever shall dispute with you after the knowledge which hath been given you, say unto them, Come, let us call together our sons and your sons, our women and your women, and ourselves and yourselves. Then let us make imprecations and lay the curse of Allah upon those who lie. Fatima, according to Amir ibn Sadi and Amal, Mumin in Asia, when the above verses were revealed to the Messenger of Allah, he called Ali, Hassan and Hussein and said, Master, this is my family and progeny Al-Bayt. Says that when the above verses were revealed, the Prophet of Allah covered himself with a black coverlet, took in it Ali, Fatima, Hassan and Hassan and Hussein, and said, Master, this is my progeny, my household and my family, all Bayt. Thereupon the messenger of the Master received the following revelation. Verily, Allah desires to remove from you every abomination, you the household of the Prophet, and to purify you with a perfect purification. Agrees with Imam Fakhruddin al-Razi. Hearing the glad news of divine purification, sanctification, and consecration, the Holy Prophet decided to take only these 4 persons along with him for the ceremony of trial by imprecations as ordered by Allah. That is, Aliyah representing the selves as mentioned in the above verses, Fatima representing sons, representing women Hassan and Hussein. The Christian priests were then informed of these orders of Allah and said, They agreed next morning to abide by the trial as a quick way of deciding which of them were in the wrong. Muhammad met them accordingly, accompanied by his daughter Fatima K and his 2 grandsons Hassan and Hussein, his son-in-law Ali, and desired them, the Christian priests, to wait till he had said his prayers. But when they saw him kneel down, their resolution failed them, and they dared not venture to accuse him and his party, but agreed to sign a treaty and pay tribute to him. And Rev. George Sale. All Al-Bayt people of the household of Muhammad knew the designation usually given to Fatima's nay Ali is Nand and their children and descendants. This is the name by which Ibn Khaldun invariably designates them and followers and disciples, Shi'as or adherents of the people of the house. Sanai, the famous Sufi poet whom Rumi praises, represents the general feeling with which the descendants of Muhammad were regarded in the following verses of poetry. Excluding the Book of Allah and his family descendants, nothing has been let by the Prophet, and memorials such as these can never be obtained till the day of judgment. See the spirit of Islam. while discussing this event and the verses referred above, have given their opinion that the Holy Prophet himself and Ali, by translating the word selves as the word women as Fatima and the word sons as Hassan and Hussein, have shown to the Muslim the estimation in which these four persons are held by Allah and by himself. They and they alone are his Ahlul Baytnen who deserve the divine purification, sanctification and consecration. During this year, Ali then was sent once again on a propagation mission to Yemen, then on an expedition against Amr bin Mudikab. He performed both the duties successfully. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal said that from the later expedition, Khalid ibn al-Walid sent a letter containing complaints of Imam Ali, the Holy Prophet, to. This letter was carried by Bareda, a companion of the Holy Prophet. On receipt of this letter, the messenger of Allah was annoyed and got angry and said, "You are fabricating lies and fictitious complaints against Ali. He is from me and I am from him. He is your master and wailing after me. Whoever annoys him actually annoys me, and whoever forsakes him forsakes me. He is made of the same mold that I am made of, and I am made of the same mold that Abraham is made of, and my status with Allah is superior to that of Abraham." Now the end of the 10th AH. Saw the Holy Prophet, then performed the farewell pilgrimage. Returning from there, for the last time he designated Imam Ali as his viceger in the year 11 AH. Was the saddest year of Imam Ali's life. He lost two of his best friends. One of whom he loved and venerated like a father, like a master, and like the dearest friend, the Holy Prophet, who died during the early months of the year. His death was followed by the death of Imam Ali's dearest companion, his wife, Fatima Light. The lady of the last year of Holy Prophet's life was spent at Medina. And an envoy of his was killed by the Syrians, and he had ordered an expedition against the Byzantines under Usama ibn Zayd, and he had ordered all his companions except Imam Ali 9 join this expedition, and had ordered the troops to be encamped outside the city. Although he was ill, and in spite of his weakness, he came out, arranged the flag there, the insignia of the command, with his own hands, and handed it over to Usama. He felt that people were not willing to join this expedition because of the young age of Usama. He got annoyed and said, "May the curse of Allah be on those who forsake the army of Usama." The cause of this illness was the poison which had been given to him and which had slowly penetrated into his system and had now begun to show its effect. It became evident that he had not long to live. The news of his approaching end led to the stop of the expedition, the spirit of Islam. At the last stage of illness, the Holy Prophet was staying at the house of Umm-ul-Mu'minin Isha. From there he came out for the last time to lead the prayers. He was so weak that he was actually carried by the sons of Abbas ibn Abdul Muttalib. He himself led the prayers. This exertion proved too much for the messenger of the Master, and when he returned home from the mosque, he fainted. His condition was very serious at that time, and the fainting fit was of long duration. His children and members of family and his companions started weeping and lamenting. He came out of the swoon and looked at those tear-sprinkled faces around him and said, "Bring a pen, some ink and paper, so that I may write a will for you that will keep you on the straight path." Some of his companions wanted to offer him the pen and paper, while Umar was of the opinion that he was talking insanely on account of the intensity of his illness. He argued they had the Holy Quran with them, which would suffice them. This discussion took a serious turn, and people started arguing in loud voices. The Messenger of Allah got annoyed at this and asked them to go away and to leave him alone. Mind Haji al-Sanar of Allama Ibn Taymiyyah, Shah Sahib Muslim of Allama Nuri, gives a detailed account of this event. This was Sunday the 27th Safar. After the above incident, the Messenger of Allah called Ali said, "Ali, you will be first to meet me on the fountain of Kauthar. After me, when hardship and reverses face you, do not lose patience. And when you find people running after worldly gains, then you should busy yourself in the way of disseminating the truth and serving Allah." On the next day, Monday the 28th of Safar, the Messenger of Allah passed away to the realm of His grace, blessings and a majesty. The last moment and burial rites of the Holy Prophet. Al-Allama Muhammad ibn Sa'di, in his famous book Tabaqat, relates that during the Caliphate of Umar, the famous Jew Ka'b al-Ahbar, who later embraced Islam, asked once the Caliph, "Sir, please tell me what the last words of the Holy Prophet were." The Caliph told him to ask Imam Ali Nakan about it. Ka'b went to Ali and asked him the same question. The Imam last moments of the Holy Prophet and replied, during his head was resting on my shoulder and his word, Salat. Salat, of all prayers, prayers! Ka'b declared, verily, the last moments of all prophets have always been thus. They are ordained for it, and they carry the message even with their last breath. Then Ka'b went to Umar and asked him, who performed the ghusl for the body of the Prophet after his death. The Caliph told him to ask Imam Ali about that too. He again went to and repeated the question. Imam Ali replied, the messenger of Allah had willed that none, but I should perform those ablutions because if any other person looked at his naked body, he would get blind. A curtain was hung, and from the other side of the curtain Fazol, Ibn Abbas and Usama, blindfolded, were handing water to me, and I was performing the ghusl. These facts, that Imam Ali, Holy Prophet, was the only person to be with at his last moments and to have performed the last rites, are also acknowledged by the authors of these books, Tadakkarat, after the last ablutions and after shrouding the sacred body of the Messenger of Allah as per his will. First, Imam Ali performed the death prayers alone. Then the parties of the Muslims came and offered the death prayers without any leader Iman. Allama ibn Abdul Barr in al-Istiyaz, that after Imam Ali offered his death prayers alone, then Banu Hashim offered the prayers, then the Muhajir and then the Ansar. Burial of the Holy Prophet of the death, after prayers were performed. Imam Ali ibn Abbas, Fazl ibn Abbas and Usama bin Zayd got busy with the arrangements of the burial of the Messenger of Allah. At the request of the Ansar, Oz ibn Kholi al-Ansari, who was also a Badri, a participant in the Badr campaign, was allowed to join them. Usama the grave in the house of Ummul Mu'minin, mother of the faithful Isha. Oz got into the grave and Imam Ali lifted the sacred body in his hands and lowered it into the grave. He stayed in the grave for some time weeping bitterly. Usama says, I have never seen Ali weeping like that before or after this occasion. Then Ali came out of the grave and, lifting his hands, said, Lord, he was your first creation. His death not a sign of immortality. He lifted the gloom prevailing before the creation started. He was a proof of your glory and benevolence. He had come to us from the realm of your love and glory and was our guide towards that realm. His soul was the emblem of your supreme might. His body was the masterpiece of your creation, and his mind was your treasure house. Then he covered the grave Ashad of Sheikh al-Mufid. When Ali and Banu Hashim were busy with the last rites of the burial of the Messenger of Allah, some Muhajir and Ansar gathered at the Saqifa of Banu Sa'ida and decided Bamu with the persuasion of Umar ibn al-Khattab that Ba'abak should be the first caliph forgetting, or pretending to have forgotten. Their oath of allegiance to Ali, successor of the Prophet Imam Ali, was asked to accede to this decision. He refused. Abu Sufyan came to Medina and went to Abbas, uncle of the Holy Prophet, and said to him, People have taken away the caliphate from Banu Hashim. You are the uncle of the Messenger of Allah and the oldest among the tribesmen of Quraysh. You have been kind to them also. They will accept your leadership. Let you and I swear the oath of allegiance to Ali. If anybody opposes us, we shall kill him. They both went to Ali. Abu Sufyan said to him, Ali, if ye like, I shall overflow Medina with infantry and cavalry. Do accept our proposal. Stretch your hand and let us swear the oath of allegiance to you. Hearing this, Ali replied, Abu Sufyan, I swear by Allah Almighty that you, through this proposal, want to create serious dissension among the Muslims. You have always tried to harm Islam. I do not need your sympathy or your help. A detailed account of this event may be found in Imam Ali, that realized that any serious dissension at this stage would harm the cause of Islam considerably. He had before him the example of the Holy Prophet foretold by the Holy Prophet and Treaty of Hudaybiyyah, and had been hand of all that would happen. Imam Ali says, the Holy Prophet had said to Imam Ali, "Hey, your status is like that of the Kaaba. People, Muslims, approach the Kaaba, but this holy house never approaches anybody. Therefore, after my death, if people come to you and swear the oath of allegiance to you, accept it. And if they do not come to you, then you should not go to them." Allama Sheikh Abdul Haq, the traditionist and Dalalawi, in Madarij al-Nubuwwan Vol 2 pp 511 says that the Holy Prophet advised Imam Ali had saying, "After me you will have to face the extremes of suffering. Do not get disheartened and do not lose patience. And when you find people craving for and trying their utmost to secure worldly power and wealth, you mold your life for the hereafter." Imam Ali loved Islam as intensely as the Holy Prophet had loved it. He could not, therefore, for the sake of worldly kingdom, endanger Islam. He knew that a civil war at that stage would give chances to the Jewish clans of Banu Nazir and Banu Qurayza on one side, and the Christian tribes of Najran and Syria by the Byzantine armies on the other. The Munafiqun Hippocrates and fresh converts on the third would simply take advantage of the situation. When they found the Muslims busy killing each other, they would literally cut them into pieces, and Islam would totally disappear as a message of peace. He wanted the Arabs to remain in the fold of Islam even with the desires of making their worldly status good, and wanted the enemies of Islam to realize that Islam was powerful enough to defend itself even after the sad demise of the messenger of the master. Religion of the Holy Faith. Therefore, he was willing to accept every wrong for the Islam and to retire to the seclusion of his house. The advice he gave to his uncle Abbas is to be found in Nahjul Balagha, wherein he told him not to join the turmoil.